Hi, everybody. I'm Roxan McDonald.
And I'm Joe Clements.
And this is the Spiritual as Fuck or Whatever podcast. And this week, we are going to be talking about what the fuck is metta?
Heavy metta.
Heavy metta. You know, I actually have a story about this. So once we get in, I have to remember this.
Fucking get in there.
Okay, Joe. Should I read the definition about what metta is first, or do you want to just talk about it?
I live that shit, yo.
Yeah, I live metta as well. So
metta is love and kindness in the Buddhist practice. They call it, or kind awareness.
Yeah, or even just friendliness, amity, goodwill, active interest in others. It is the first of the four sublime states.
The Brahma Viharas.
Oh, look at you. See, you know this shit.
I know some things.
And one of the 10 paramis?
Paramis, yeah.
Paramis of the Theravada school of Buddhism. The cultivation of benevolence is a popular form of Buddhist meditation. Okay, so it's a Pali word. It means mostly what we see it meaning is loving kindness.
Loving kindness. I kind of like. I like kind awareness more.
Well,
I know.
Most people will say
this shit mine,
loving kindness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Loving kindness just sounds pretty wooey to me. Can we just be in loving kindness? Not always, but I can be in kind awareness. Kind of.
Yeah. Kind of loving?
Kind of awareness.
Yeah. So, metta, the practice of cultivating loving kindness or kind of lovingness.
Kind of lovingness.
Which is, it is my main form of meditation.
Is metta.
Metta.
Cool. Tell me more.
Well, it was the thing that it's way more accessible to me. I can agree with myself to sit down and do a metta meditation way more easily than I can agree to sit there and just be quiet. And so I will enter into a meditation practice with the thing of like, I'm just going to do some metta for 5 minutes.
What does that look like?
Yes. Because we have different sayings. So I've been in, you've led me in metta, and we say it differently.
And that's totally okay. Yeah.
It's really not. You're wrong, and I'm right.
No, it's totally okay.
Yeah. Except for I'm right.
I'm just going to be a kind and aware right now.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. You're out-kinding me again.
Yeah. See how I do that?
Okay. So the practice that I do is that I go through a series of visualizations, and maybe I could say I'll just say what I do. Sure. So, I will visualize myself as a child. And the first time somebody asked me to visualize myself as a child, they said, whatever age comes. And that's what I do now. It's oftentimes this one age that is just the age that comes up. I am, 4 years old. I'm in Alaska. And, but oftentimes I'll be surprised where I just like go, okay, I'm going to envision myself as a child, and a different age will come up and I'll have curiosity about it. Like, oh, wow. Like, wow, that was a 12-year-old Roxanne, and then I just like kind of get eye level with that kid, and I try to visualize that self, and I start saying in my head, may you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be free from suffering. May you be healthy. And then I know that this is not traditional metta meditation, but I add, may you feel loved and may you love fully. And I will say it enough and feel the feelings of like, if I really was myself as an adult and I am just showering this kid with these good wishes, and then it generates that feeling, and I get interested in what that feeling is, and what it does, it feels for me like an openness in my chest that then kind of goes through myself, and it makes me, I feel a certain way when I am in that loving state. And then I envision myself as I sit now, or, in my meditation, as this adult. And then I go, may you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be healthy, may you be free from suffering, may you feel loved, and may you love fully. And then I try to like just generate all that. And then I think I do that for many rounds. And then I think of somebody that I have an easy relationship with. And then I wish it on them, and I try to envision them. I try to make it very personal in the beginning parts so that it's more tangible. And then I say the same things over. And then I go to somebody I love, but I have some conflict with, or I have some tension with, and I spend time there. And then I pick somebody that like I really am angry or upset with, or have difficulty with, or a political figure, or and I will go through many iterations of people and things, but I try to get it. I don't let go of an image of a person until I genuinely feel that quality of love and kindness. And then I envision it as a entity around myself, and I fill the room, and then I fill the town, and then I get to, may all beings be happy, may all beings be peaceful, may all beings be free from suffering. Wow. Yeah, and that's my practice. And oftentimes I do it throughout the day. I'll do it in traffic. Yeah. I do it pretty much I post a lot of pictures of myself in the woods. And a lot of what I do in the woods is that I have an easier access towards that loving kindness when I'm among trees. And so I will spend miles just walking and doing loving kindness meditations. What about you, Joe? How do you do your whack ass practice that you...
You just fucking nailed it. That's what we do.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's a beautiful metta practice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, bringing in yourself, especially as the young self, I think has been huge transformative practice for me. Is like, being with that younger self. And I love that it's just like any age. Doesn't have to be at one age. It's just like a younger self kind of thing. So, and that's what my metta practice is, but the kind of awareness piece, like I like bringing it into even just my formal sitting, like to the mind, when the mind is drifting off into thought. How am I returning to the moment? Am I being fucking hella judgmental? So it's like, I'll watch the mind in that way. It's like, fuck, you're thinking again. Of course, you fucking dumbass. It's like, or can I, welcome home. Yeah. How you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we are.
There's that thinker.
Yeah. So just that that's where, there's the metta practices, and you totally just went through it. Think it is the traditional way is yourself, a loved one, a benefactor, they say, I think, and then radiating out, or someone that's difficult. Actually, I don't know exactly, but I think there's someone, a neutral person that's in there. Some maybe you see once in a while a clerk at the grocery store or something, just sending them some kind of awareness, some loving kindness. And then radiating it outward, from above, below, east, west, north, south, all that kind of stuff.
Above, below?
Above and below, all beings from above. Those unborn, those dying. You can go on and on and on. But I love that's perfect.
Thanks,
yeah,
Joe.
It's a great fucking practice. And thinking about it, I haven't done a lot of metta practices lately. I used to fucking do it always. It was either concentration or like just getting on the breath meditation, or like a forgiveness meditation, or kindness, love and kindness meditation, metta. And I always like, fuck, I love metta. It's fucking super dope, right? Because you can generate those feelings, those emotions of kindness.
Yeah.
So now, I'm feeling like, shit, maybe I should do more metta practices.
Yeah.
But I do, in my meditation practices, I'm always watching the mind. And when I offer it to these meditations to people, just what's the quality that you're coming back to the breath? What's the quality that you're coming back to your feet? Is there a judgment, a little like, oh shit, I'm supposed to be this? Or can you, even if it is that, just notice that there's judgment and then welcome yourself. Just, welcome. Here you are.
Yeah, the practice for me of starting with myself as a child and then myself as the practitioner or the person now, really is important. So when I struggle, when I get to those difficult ones, or when I get to where I'm like, why can't I pay attention, or why can't I get myself to be loving towards somebody, and that I can go back to, well, may you be happy. This one that is, having difficulty, may you be peaceful. And if I don't start there, then I end up judging. And I really learned that with the schools I ran. I always taught meditation, and we would do metta meditations like all the time. And I would have these very traumatized young people. And then at certain points, I worked with gangs, and so I would have opposing gang members in the same room, and then doing these metta meditations where, you're asking them a lot to be in the same room. And then I would, say, let's do this. And you could see them, like in the beginning, would be like, think of a loved, a family member, somebody you love. And you could see this relaxation and this beauty coming on about just because, we all have it. We all have it. And then you bringing up an enemy.
Yeah.
And you could, people's eyes pop open. Ugh, and then just like, okay. And then go back to yourself. And I would go back to that kid. And I would watch this unfold. And then through metta meditation, I got to be more aware and compassionate to the part of me that is angry, why in the midst of sitting alone do I feel that I can't be loving to somebody that is no threat to me in that moment. And then I'm like, this is big. This is, so when I'm in the midst of things happen, like I have more access now in the midst of my defensiveness, because I can see that I'm like, maybe I'm not in danger. Maybe I'm just like there's this protection, this anger comes up, but having practice with it when I'm, alone or in a group, that enemy, I'm doing quotations, but that person that feels like a threat or I feel so upset with, But also, I always think the best fuck you is metta too.
Absolutely.
Like, the best
May
fuck
you be
you
at
is,
ease.
Or no, yes.
May you be at peace.
I also think the best comeback to anybody doing anything is to say, I forgive you.
Yeah.
So good.
Well,
they get so pissed.
It is, though, because it fucking loosens the grip of resentment. It releases, like, we don't need to let these fuckers in our life.
Yes.
But we can change some way. We're fucking, like, if we're in the spiritual connectedness, we're connected to these motherfuckers. Sorry, I don't want to say that word. We're connected to these mofos. So
mofo is still motherfucker.
I know. We're connected to these people.
But you fuck a mother. Mothers should be fucked.
Mothers should be
I've
fucked.
fucked well.
Okay.
But still, Joe. Yeah.
We're connected to these people. In one way or the other through how we feel. So if
they're affecting me, we're connected. Yes.
So if it softens the heart, it releases that grip. And again, we don't need to let them in our life. It's just releasing that grip.
Yeah. Well, and the best it's a fuck you, because you can, when you release that grip, you're free.
You're free.
And it's like, I think
they don't win anymore.
Yeah. Like
winning.
Being scared I'm going to run into somebody is such a prison.
It's such a prison.
Or to being like, oh, how am I going to act? And when I get to a place, like there's an actual meme where it's like when somebody hates me and I walk in and it's like a woman and she's all, hey girl. And that's like where metta can get me, where I'm just like, hey, because it's not being, and I, of course that's not very evolved, but it actually helps me get to be willing to do the actually evolved thing, is to be free, is to be, not be affected.
To be free. Yeah. And for me, my meditation, or my Metta meditation, like what you're doing with the gang members and stuff, is like I had to think of a loved one before I thought of myself. I had to, because I couldn't, especially I didn't know how to love myself in that way. You know, so I would just think of a loved one that was easy to love, and then I could feel that's what that feels like. And then I would flip it to myself. Even sometimes, like I would do the visualizing, like my loved one sitting there and me sitting next to them, and then they looking at me and saying those same words to me. So it's really like me saying it, but it's through their eyes. Yeah. And then I'll not trick myself, but then I'll start saying, "May I be at ease. May I be at peace." So it's kind of like that was an easier way for me to even see what that feeling feels like when you're thinking your loved one. It's like, oh my God, you can just feel the softening of the heart. Yeah. You know, so then, then you know what that feeling's like when you're talking about, when you're doing for yourself, what I didn't feel for a long time. I was just kind of faking it. May I be free. May I be at ease. May I be at peace. You know, kept doing it though, retraining the mind.
Yeah. Well, and to do it when I'm upset.
To do it when I'm upset
is such a tool for me that like if I can get so anxious and I can get so angry. I mean, we were in another recording of podcast. I was saying that I'm lucky I can't light people on fire with my eyes. Yeah. And so that feeling that come up and then going like, I can love with that intensity. Yeah. I can forgive with that intensity. I can wish you fucking well. Fiery burning balls of peace. May you be at ease on fire. Yes. Yeah. While you turn to charcoal. No, but I can. I mean, like the intensity, I have access to both. I just have to cultivate one.
Access to both. They're both there.
And yes, but I just have to work.
Yeah, for sure. One phrase that that works really well for me is, and I remember because I didn't feel at peace. I was asking. First, it was I think it was offered. May I accept who I am right where I am? I'm like, I didn't like that. I was like, I went more. May I be at peace with who I am right where I am. That's a big one for me. Can I just be at peace with room to grow? Yeah. But can I just be at peace with just who I am right where I am? Not to get complacent or anything, but just can I just be at peace? That's that whole good enough piece for me, you know? Yeah.
Well, I've noticed that when I do it, I will do a practice like out in the world, especially if I'm anxious, because I run towards anxiety. I get anxious a lot. And that I will do experiments where I will be out in crowds or whatever, and I will just like zap it at people, where I'll be like, if I'm focused on being loving, then I'll stop being focused on how many fucking people are there and how much noise is happening and all that. But like barely even looking at people, but shooting them loving kindness, they will react. I've had people come up to me and be like, how hard, what's going on? Like making, like talking to me. And I'm like, the only thing I was doing was like shooting you goodwill. And it freaking works.
Was it fire from the eyes, or was it just like,
no, it was just like
rose petals?
I was being a Care Bear.
The Care Bear stare.
That's one of the things I think about when I do Metta, is that I'm doing a Care Bear stare. Nice, I love it. And then like I just like this little one, then it may you be happy. Yeah. But also when like I've had it where I'm going to be going into a difficult conversation, and you know, like conflict is difficult. Whew. And I can easily figure out my comebacks and what I'm going to say if they say this and all that stuff. And then I will create that. I will set myself up for it. Like if you want to talk manifesting or not manifesting, but I will tell you, you generally get what you prepare for. Like if I will, and whether it's like I'm putting the energy out there to where they're going to be more combative, or I'm, you know, or whether I show up and I end up leading the conversation into a place that is less loving and kind and cohesive. But if I think about, if I do metta on my way to any kind of conflict, it goes better.
Yeah.
Like inevitably it goes better. So it doesn't mean it goes my way all the time, but it goes better.
Do you feel like it just doing the phrases or just going in with some metta brings that pause? And it kind of just gets a kind of a skip in the repetitive, this is the way it's going to be. And we can just, it pauses us for a minute before we're just kind of going like a bull in a china shop.
Yeah, but it also makes it to where, when you're having conflict and you're defending, you're not thinking about them winning too. And when you can get to a win-win, and generally conflict we get surprised at the end about like what can come from, like
If
there's
you can
ways
really-
of compromising, and that
If
we
you can
can
really
make
listen to, and be like, that sounds more like kind of empathy a little bit, or compassion.
Not even just like what their problem is. If I get into a place where I'm like, I would like you to be happy.
Oh, okay, I see.
I would really, that's part of my goal too.
Yeah.
And the truth is, even people I really don't.
What if you being wrong is going to make them happy? You know what I mean though? It's like,
yeah,
that's the other thing. I've been asked
for
that.
them to be at peace. That's the thing. I think, like I have one person I'm thinking of that they needed me to be wrong. They needed to think things about me that I'm like that. It makes no logical sense, but I want them to have peace. And for whatever reason, we could not end on a terms that I would like, but that they needed that. And so I will get to, I do, I shower this person. I shower the fuck out of this person with metta on the regular.
Yeah.
And I really am like, I'm willing to be wrong if they can be happy.
Wow. Yeah. What if they've harmed?
Oh, they are.
Yeah. So that's
yes,
they have harmed. So that's still
harmed.
That's the hard part. What I see with people a lot of times, it's almost like that forgiveness kind of piece, where it's like, how do I fucking forgive this fucking person? It's like, ugh. Yeah. One of my favorite times to like do the Care Bear stare.
Yeah.
Is when I'm at a stoplight.
Yeah.
And just seeing when people are like people are turning kind of into the lane next to me or whatever, driving by, and I'm just like, each one I'll get, may you be at peace. May you be at ease. And just you get into their world for a minute and you can kind of see maybe they're stressed out or just like, and just for a minute, it's kind of, I feel my whole kind of, just my whole being kind of soften a little bit. Like, and I don't know if it's doing anything for them, but it's kind of cool to do.
Yes.
It's just like, it relaxes my nervous system a little bit.
It relaxes my nervous system as well.
Yeah. And walking too. Walking is a great one. Walking, just like each footstep, may I be at peace. May I be at ease. May I be at peace. May I be at ease. There's something with that. There's like, this back and forth kind of stuff. And that's another thing that's retraining your mind. It's like that EMDR kind of eye movement thing.
Desensitization in your program.
Same thing with when we're walking and we're saying those words, because it's back and forth. Look at that. Don't even need a therapist. Just go for a walk.
Tippity tap, you're done.
Yeah. Fucking in debt for my EMDR fucking shit. But it is. That's I've had some of the most, like I used to hate, we were talking about retreats. Like I was getting at, like, you do sit, walk on these retreats, like, and I used to hate, what the fuck we doing these walking? I just need to fucking sit and meditate, and like, but I remember some of my fucking deepest insights were from walking meditations, and doing a phrase like that, maybe, and just like all these, whatever stories were coming up, whatever people were coming up, meeting with the kindness, the awareness, like, whoa, so much softening around it. And some of the inner child kind of stuff was really coming up. I remember on one retreat, I did one retreat, and like you're talking about, I was sending some kindness to a younger self, and it was some times where it was some fucking difficult times in my life, and I was just sitting with that part of me, and it was fucking felt so rewarding, so I felt held, and it was in my own, I was doing it myself, you know. It was like I was meeting that part of me that felt like abandoned or lost or sad or whatever, and it was healing.
Yeah.
So the next retreat, I went to same place. I went to the same fucking place, same teacher, and I'm like, I'm gonna find that fucking 12-year-old Joe again. And by the 5th day, I'm like, oh, fuck, where are you? So pissed. And I talked to the teacher, and they're like, yeah, you maybe need to let go. I'm like, fuck you, let
It's
go,
chasing
whatever.
a high again, man.
And I was. And then, okay, so I just kind of let it go. I'm like, fuck, whatever. And I just was doing walking meditation. May I be at ease, may I peace. And a fucking younger self popped into my mind. And I remember this before the shit went down, it was fucking peaceful Joe, it was sensitive Joe, it was fucking happy Joe. I'm like, oh, I get to hang out with you.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's super cool when you just let go and just kind of like still doing the practice, you know, and it was super fucking cool.
Yeah. Metta's cool.
Metta's hella cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it? You got anything more to say about Metta?
No, I think that's good. Practice Metta. Yeah. And the phrases, yeah, like you said,
they can be different.
They can be different. Whatever's some kind of kind phrase to yourself or to others.
Yeah.
You know, and a prayer, whatever, you know. Yeah.
Well, we are going to be in December doing a month of Metta.
Month of Metta.
Yes. So we will be having some just focus on loving kindness, or what do you call it? Kind awareness?
Love and kindness, kind awareness. I like kind awareness, yeah.
Yeah. So
it's not so wooey.
We're going to be doing that on Patreon. So if you want to get on there, you can access some of our Metta junk.
You don't want to see my Metta junk.
All right.
Peace.
Thank you. Let's thank Jeremy Miller of the Betterment Brothers, Betterment Bros.
Peace. Can you just get it right? Gurk, gurk. No, I'm sorry.
And Flicks and Six. If you like this podcast and you've done some Metta and you're feeling like all like hella Metta, then subscribe, rate, and review.
Please.
Do a rate and review meditation. Also, if you want to spread the word, then share it on your social media. And if you tag us, we will shout you out on our social medias. Joe, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at _joe.clements_ or josephclements.com.
And then you can find me at roxannemcdonald.com, which is ROXAN, like a chemical Roxan, or spiritual-af.com, or on the Instagram at spiritual_af.
Beautiful.
Right. Thank you.
Cool.
May you be happy.
May you be at ease.
May you be peaceful.
Now get the fuck out.
Bye.
Later. When you're feeling shit out of luck, remember your spiritual